Hello everyone, my name is Joelle. Welcome back to my channel and a special welcome to you if you are new here. We've just hit 2,000 subscribers this week and I am so grateful to each and every one of you for your support as our little community continues to grow. So today we're going to be talking about the 7 chakras, specifically what they are, how they impact us, and how we can use them as another healing tool in our lives. Now in most of my videos so far we have focused on how to manage physical pain like hip pain or foot pain or neck pain. Whereas with chakras we're talking about energetic or emotional sensations which can sometimes contribute to physical or psychological pain. If you haven't heard of the chakras before, they're essentially energetic centers or spinning energy wheels in the body. The most common and most studied chakra system has 7 main chakras that run up the length of the spine. So while they are located in specific areas, they're actually part of the subtle body rather than something we can see in the physical body. Much like, for example, meridians, which you might be familiar with if you've ever tried something like acupuncture. Chakras have an impact on the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies, which is why we can look to unblock and balance them. For example, someone with a blocked 4th chakra or heart chakra might experience difficulties giving or receiving love, or perhaps expressing gratitude or compassion, or they might even experience occasional pain in the chest area. Whereas someone with a balanced heart chakra will more easily tend to experience warmth in their chest, for example when hugging a child or smiling at somebody that they care about, even though that warmth isn't actually something that we can see either. Visualizing the chakras as energy centers can help us understand that these centers can either be balanced with energy flowing freely throughout, or they might also be blocked, where either there isn't enough energy to go around, or perhaps there's too much energy frantically moving in too many directions at once. If you're curious whether any of your own chakras may be blocked, I have linked in the description box below this video to an excellent short book that I really recommend, and it includes quizzes that you can take to determine if you have any imbalances, as well as some additional tips and tricks on each of the 7 chakras. One way that we can work to balance our chakras is, of course, through yoga. There are various postures and affirmations that work strongly on each one of the 7 chakras. And in fact, the next video that I will have coming out on this channel will be a 15-minute practice for our 1st chakra or our root chakra. So if you happen to be watching this and you are not subscribed yet, then I would love it if you would do so now so that we can practice that one together. And if there's interest, I can also, of course, put together sequences for the other 6 chakras, so I would love to know in the comments down below if that's something you'd be interested in. Now let's go through a few things to know about each of the 7 chakras. Our 1st chakra, or Muladhara in Sanskrit, is located at the base of the spine, at our root, pointing downwards into the earth. As such, this chakra connects us to the earth with a feeling of being grounded and rooted in our physical body with a sense of security. It's linked to physical parts of the body as well, like our feet and legs, our coccyx, the perineum, the colon, the bladder, and the hips. So related problems for someone with an imbalanced root chakra might include sciatica or hip pain or perhaps urinary infections or digestive issues. This is our fight or flight chakra, and we can treat it, of course, not only through yoga but also through connecting more deeply with the earth. And that might mean walking barefoot through the grass, it might mean putting a handful of salt into the bath, or smelling some flowers, or also just getting a foot massage. As with the other chakras, it's also associated with a color, in this case red, so wearing red clothing, eating red fruits and vegetables, or just surrounding ourselves with the color red can also help to balance this chakra. Our 2nd chakra, Svadhisthana, is our sacral chakra. It's located just a tiny bit higher up the spine, deep in the abdomen, and it radiates forwards and back and spins just a little bit faster than our root chakra. It pertains to how we relate to the world and everyone in it, as well as our sense of pleasure and our sense of sexuality. It's linked to the element of water, and it's also linked to certain physical parts of the body as well, like the pelvis or the sexual organs and the kidneys. And it can also be linked to problems including infertility, appendicitis, low back pain, or any problems with reproduction or menstruation. This is our pleasure and creativity chakra, represented by the color orange. And in addition to surrounding ourselves with that color and also practicing certain yoga postures, other ways to balance our 2nd Explained or sacral chakra include getting in touch with our inner child for a few hours. So that might mean reading a children's book, or perhaps getting out a coloring book, or going to an amusement park and riding a roller coaster. Also, bringing more water into our lives is important for this chakra. So not just making sure that we're drinking enough water, but also spending time maybe next to a river or even taking a swim class. And the last important way that we can help with balancing this sacral chakra is by finding pleasure in creativity. Whatever that might mean to you. Maybe that is painting or writing or cooking, just any form of creative self-expression. Our third chakra, or Manipura, is located at the solar plexus, a little bit above the belly button and below the rib cage, kind of in that upside down V that you can feel. This is our willpower chakra, related to how well or how easily we can take action and just generally get things done. The color of this chakra is yellow and its element is fire. Physically, it's linked to the diaphragm and the spleen and the middle back. So problems associated with this third chakra could include pain in the mid-back, or perhaps liver issues or food allergies. Our third chakra is often linked to emotional issues. So on the one hand, perhaps that means fear or insecurity or a low sense of self-worth. And on the other hand, it might result in someone being overbearing or even bullying. In addition to yellow clothing, plants, fruits, and vegetables, other ways that we can help to balance this chakra include getting an abdominal massage or working out our abdominals, skipping alcohol for a little while to give our liver a break, building a bonfire or lighting some candles safely can also be really nice. Or it might also help to write a message of self-confidence for ourselves and place it somewhere that we can see regularly. Perhaps that's taping it to the bathroom mirror or placing it on a desk somewhere. And examples of affirmations that you could write down and try would include something like, I am in charge of what happens in my life. Or another one that I really like is, I accomplish tasks easily and pleasurably. Our fourth chakra is Anahata in Sanskrit, located at the heart, and it radiates through the sternum in the front of the body and between the shoulder blades in the back of the body. This is our compassion, empathy, gratitude, and of course love chakra, related to the color green and the element of air. It's linked of course to our heart, as you might imagine, but also to our immune and circulatory systems, as well as our upper back, our ribs, our chest, and our skin. So someone with an imbalanced heart chakra might experience asthma or high blood pressure, or they might get frequent colds. This fourth chakra is essentially a bridge between the three lower chakras and the three upper chakras, bridging where the physical and spiritual selves start to meet. If you've ever had a feeling of your heart just not being in something, or conversely maybe a feeling of following your heart, then that may have been your heart chakra at work. To bring our heart chakra into balance, we can work to practice forgiveness, both of ourselves and of others, whatever that might mean to you. We could also practice saying I love you into a mirror, or paying more attention to the things, the people, and the experiences that we are grateful for. Perhaps even writing down a list of things we're grateful for. We could also give our lungs a bit of a workout, either by practicing some deep abdominal breathing, or by doing some cardio exercise like going for a run or taking a dance class. And of course, perhaps most importantly, we can work to consciously both accept and freely give love, both to ourselves and to others. Our fifth chakra, Vishuddha, is located at the throat. So as you might imagine, this chakra relates to communication and self-expression, as well as our sense of hearing. It is associated with the color blue, and not only with the throat, but also with the neck, the teeth, the ears, the arms, and the thyroid. So someone with an imbalanced throat chakra might suffer from teeth grinding or neck and shoulder pain, gum disease, or laryngitis. They might also generally struggle with self-expression, putting their feelings into words and expressing who they really are. They might also not be a great listener, perhaps prone to interrupting or gossip, or on the other side of it, they might have fear of speaking up, even in situations where they have a lot of value to add. To help balance this chakra, we can try things like singing more regularly, even if it's in the shower, getting a neck and shoulder massage, perhaps challenging ourselves to join a Toastmasters club or to give a public speech for a certain occasion. We could also try sitting in complete silence for a few moments at a time, or contemplating the color blue, even if that means just sitting and looking up at the blue sky and taking that in. Our sixth chakra, Ajna, is located at the third eye between the eyebrows. This is our intuition or sixth sense chakra. So when this chakra is balanced, we can clearly see what we want out of life, where we are going, and we can help make the right decisions to get ourselves there. If this chakra, on the other hand, is out of balance, then someone might worry that they lack imagination or that they don't have enough value to bring to the world. This chakra is also linked to the color indigo, as well as the brain, the eyes, the forehead, and the temples. Potential physical problems associated with a blocked brow chakra could include glaucoma, or headaches, or dizziness, or insomnia. For additional balance of this chakra, in addition to its color and certain yoga postures, we can practice playing memory games, we can look at optical illusions like those magic eye drawings, we might contemplate a sunset and just watch the colors change. We can also regularly listen to classical or soothing music, and we can simply practice trusting our own inner intuition. Trust your inner wisdom and look forward to seeing things more clearly once this chakra is in balance. And finally, our seventh chakra, Sahasrara, is located at the top of the head or crown, pointing upwards towards the sky. Our crown chakra is associated with the color white or violet, depending on who you ask, and this is our spirituality or higher purpose chakra. It is linked not only to the brain, as was the case with our sixth chakra, but also to the overall muscular and skeletal system and central nervous system. Some problems associated with an imbalanced crown chakra could include epilepsy, insomnia, high levels of stress, or even depression. The best way to work on this seventh chakra is actually to work on the other six and bring them into balance. Then once it's ready, the seventh chakra can open and balance itself out of its own accord. You could almost picture this chakra like a light bulb going on over your head. Meditation can also help with this chakra, as can learning to do a headstand, which I also have a video for, or reading or studying a deeper subject like perhaps philosophy. Or you might also try reflecting on a mantra for this chakra. For example, I am what I am. And there you have it, a short overview of our 7 primary chakras. There is so much more that could be said on this subject. I personally find it fascinating, so do let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and remember to check out that book that I linked in the description box as well. And as I mentioned, please do join me for the next yoga sequence coming out on this channel, a 15-minute practice for our root chakra, our first chakra, and hopefully for future sequences for the other chakras as well. And if you're interested, I could also work on a meditation video for all 7 chakras. Just an idea, let me know what you think. And thank you again so much to everyone who has liked, commented, donated, and shared my channel. I am so grateful to each and every one of you, and I am really looking forward to what is ahead with all of you. I hope to see you again soon, and I wish you a wonderful and balanced rest of your day. Namaste.